Hey, good morning, WellHouse Church. I'm excited to be with you again. I know that you have had a good time of fellowship and community with one another. I am confident in that. Why don't you go ahead and grab some more food and some coffee and come join me for our time of teaching. I have a really, really exciting message for you this morning. And I want to invite you into this conversation with me. I want you to join me as we think about recognition. Do you crave recognition? Do you want recognition? Do you seek out recognition? If you're like most people, the answer to that question is yes, you do. We all like and appreciate recognition. Now, recognition in our society and culture is pretty easy. A simple Google search of our names most of the time pops up. We have social media and our pictures plastered everywhere. But for most people, when they're recognized, outside of searching for someone on the internet, when they're recognized for what they do. If you think about it, when you recognize an actor, you recognize them as an actor, or a musician as a musician. You recognize someone for what they do. You as a person, if you are seeking recognition or receive recognition, you are being recognized for what you do. That is simply what it is. And the reason I bring that up is because oftentimes in the Gospels, we see Jesus being recognized. And just like you, when you were recognized, Jesus is recognized for what he does. Now, we all want to be great at what we do. We all want to do the things that we do and do them well. And so we want positive recognition. So what do you think Jesus is recognized for? Of all the things that Jesus does well, resisting temptation to sin, leading people, teaching, being in relationship, expressing love and grace and generosity. Of all the things that we know the person of Jesus, the Son of God, to be and do, none of those are the things that he's recognized for. We have this really unique passage in Mark's Gospel that I would like for you to read along with me this morning so that we can look at Jesus and see what people recognized him for. This is in Mark chapter 6, beginning in verse 53. It says, "When they had crossed over, they came to land at Gennesaret and moored the boat. When they got out of the boat, people at once recognized him." Now remember when we were talking about recognition earlier in the Google search. This doesn't exist in Jesus' world. Photographs don't exist in Jesus' world. If people recognized him, it's for one of two reasons. One, they had seen him before, or two, someone has seen him or someone in his entourage and has begun to talk about it. So Jesus is a polarizing figure in the ancient world that he gets recognized as soon as he shows up on scene. That whatever this thing that Jesus does that garners his recognition, it happens instantaneously. At once, they recognized him. Picking up in verse 55, "And rushed about the whole region and began to bring the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was." So this is interesting. When Jesus shows up on scene, he's immediately recognized. And as our natural response to someone that we recognized would be to go take a picture with them, which you have to understand is in the ancient world, they don't have those types of things. So when you want to capture a moment, you ask the person that you've recognized to do something that you know them to do. So a modern day example of this would be if you saw J.J. Watt on the street, you'd be like, hey, J.J., could you tackle me? You're like, okay, this is an experience that I can remember. You would have the person do the thing that they are recognized for. And so when they see Jesus, they immediately go and get their sick and bring him to them on mats, wherever he is. So Jesus shows up on scene, and he's recognized as a healer. He's recognized as a restorer of people. And so when he shows up on scene, people begin to go get their sick and take them to him on mats, wherever he is. That is insane when you stop and think about it. That Jesus, of all the things that he's known for, it's his healing and restoration that he's recognized for. We as human beings are a people in need of grace, healing, and restoration. And so we instantaneously recognize the one who is healer and restorer. They see Jesus and they immediately respond by searching for him in order that they might experience healing and restoration. And I want you to see this. Picking up in verse 56. And wherever he went, into villages or cities or farms, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed. These people are in need of restoration and healing. They're craving, they're searching far and wide for restoration and healing. Going wherever he goes, from rural to urban, wherever the region, villages, cities, farms, wherever, they're going to where Jesus is, searching out restoration, because they recognize that the one person that can provide healing and restoration to them in their situation of need is Jesus. And here's the piece that I really want you to see. Do not miss this. They begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak. Something you got to understand about this is they have such faith that just touching the end of his garment, the farthest piece of clothing of anything removed from him, if they could just touch it, that they would experience healing. And the text says, and all who touched it were healed. If there's one thing that I want you to know about this text and about Jesus, is that he is recognized as a restorer of people. And he is not limited by the quantity of people in need of restoration. All who touched it were restored. All who touched it were healed. Jesus oozes restoration from his pores. It is what he's recognized for. It is what he does. They recognize Jesus as a restorer. And so today, you should recognize Jesus as a restorer. As a person in need of restoration, Jesus is the one who provides restoration to all and any who take the moment to reach and touch the cloak. If there's anything I know about people, it's that no matter where you are in life, no matter where you've come from, where you've been, where you are, or where you think you are, every single person needs restoration. We all need restoration and spiritual healing from something. It can be something deep in our past. It can be something vile in our present. It can be a mindset that we have. It can be sin that's running rampant in our lives. We all need restoration from something. And Jesus is not afraid of your sickness. Jesus is not afraid of anything you come to him with. And Jesus is not limited by the amount of restoration that you or anyone around you needs. Jesus is recognized as healer and restorer of people, and that's never going to change. Jesus is today and tomorrow and forever will be a restorer of people, offering healing from what he did on the cross and conquering the grave, dying to himself and being raised, conquering death and evil to offer life and restoration and healing. That is never going to change. He is recognized and always will be recognized for what he does, which is restore people from darkness and depression. So today, I want to ask you, WellHouse Church, where do you need the restoration of Jesus to show up in your life? Where do you need to be restored? Where do you need to experience restoration in your own life? Because we all need restoration. Restoration is not a one-time thing that happens when you pray your prayer of salvation. Restoration is something that happens daily, time and time and time again, as Jesus is constantly at work recreating us into a new creation. We all need restoration. The question is, will we take the steps to reach out and touch the hem of Jesus' cloak in order to be restored?